everyone. My name is Julianne Meyer, and I'm the host of Own Your Wellness. And I'm excited today because we've got a guest that is coming to us all the way from England. And I have to say, I'm so impressed because it is the middle of the night there, yet he still wants to be here with us. So I am excited. And he has an awesome name that you cannot forget. It's Peter Parker, not the Spider-Man, but Peter Parker, our guest today. How are you today?
Yeah, very good, very good. Yes, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
You know, it was so funny when I was researching you. I was thinking, I know that name. I know that name. I know that name. Why does it sound so familiar? And then I was like, oh, when you pointed it out, I was like, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, Spider-Man. Yeah, there was a few Peter Parkers. I think. Remember Thunderbirds? I think Parker, the chauffeur, his name was Peter as well. And there was a chairman of British Rail at the time over here in England. He was called Peter Parker. So there was a few of them around when I was growing up. So it was quite interesting.
Well, I would love for you to share with the audience a bit about yourself and your own wellness journey.
I started off with a great childhood. It was very traumatic, actually, after about the age of 10. And I kind of came out of school, cut a long story short, I came out of school, went into a workplace environment. I wasn't happy there. So I became a musician, a professional musician. So that was great fun because music was like a meditation for me. It was like really getting into what I was doing. So it really cut out a lot of the trauma that I was holding on to with myself. And unfortunately, that dried up about after about 10 years of a successful career. I did some great gigs, great tours, and things like that. And I realised once the music had started to stop, this trauma was kind of catching up on me again. And I wanted to find something that I was going to help me sort of focus myself again. And my wife and I, we went to a Mind, Body, Spirit show in Earls Court in London, and we went and got those Kirlian photographs taken, and hers were like this beautiful red and gold colors, and mine was these blue, moody, esoteric sort of colors. And she wanted one like mine. I said, "Why? Look at yours; it's beautiful." So we went around to this stall, and they were doing these photographs as well, and they did a certain kind of Korean training, like a Ki Gong training. And I started talking to one of the masters there at the stall, and I was griping on about, I was doing the typical pity party stuff when your career's coming to the end, and I was saying, you know, I'm still a musician now, and I'm still making money, but it's not as good as it used to be. Because and she said, very interesting what you're saying. She never judged me, never, there was nothing like that. And she said, why don't you come and do some training? So I trained in martial arts before. I'd done Taekwondo and read a lot of the Bruce Lee books when I was in my early 20s. So I was kind of into fitness anyway. And this Qigong kind of made me realize that I was getting rid of stress and anxiety very quickly. It was kind of disappearing remarkably quickly, actually, because of the breathing and connecting with your body. And then I realized after a few years of training that I was actually unpeeling the trauma that had been lodged into me as a young boy. So I was really feeling great after this, and I was so taken by the training. My master said to me at the time, she said, "Why don't you go and teach at this elderly home over in the local neighbourhood?" And I thought, I've got nothing in common with elderly people at that time because my parents had died when I was quite young, and I'd lost contact with all my elderly relatives. So I'd just come from like a really young scene, a really sort of music scene, and I thought, okay, I'll give it a go. I went there, and there was like 5-6 people in the class each week, and then after about 2 or 3 months, that class jumped up to the room being packed because people were realizing they were connecting more with their body and their mind and their deep breathing. They were starting to move their joints again, and the remarkable transformations I saw from all of those people was it really touched my heart. I thought, I've got to do more with this. So I started going into schools, and I started going into businesses and doing this as well in my local area. And I was so blown away by the effects that I was having on people that I started up a charity to help elderly people with this as well. So I got other instructors to go out into elderly community centres and teach this practice that I teach. So it's been a remarkable journey from drinking lots of Jack Daniels to lots of fruit smoothies. So it's been I've seen both sides of the coin, as it were, and it's interesting to see how you can change. If I can
Mhm.
change from that sort of rock musician to a health and well-being coach, then anybody can do it. So yeah, but it was an interesting journey for me because music, I realized that everything is vibration, because I'm really into sound as well and sound healing, and music is vibration, and we do resonate with good music, and we do not like bad sounds, which is why we tend to cringe when someone scrapes their nails down a blackboard or a whiteboard. But sound does resonate with us, and my journey into sound also came along with the Ki Gong, because it's all about energy healing. And when you realize that energy is part of us, a bigger, well, is one of the big parts of us, and we hold on to negative energy, and that is
Mhm.
scientifically proven now to bring us down. And once you realize that, you need to get rid of that negative energy. You can do it with music, you can do it with Qigong, which is like moving meditation. You can do it with meditation, you can do it with many different things. Um, but it's to be, like you said at the beginning, or it shows you at the beginning of the program, joyful. Joyful
Mhm.
is the word. It's not happy, it's joyful. When you get that natural, I feel great at the moment. Like joyful is the place to be, and happiness is just like a quick fix. Whereas that finding that joyfulness inside of you is like that. Yeah, I love this. I love what I'm doing, and that's what I get now when I teach these classes. I find that I'm really joyful when I teach them, and I find people at the end of them, they say, "Well, I feel really light. I feel really good after this," and that's what I love to do. That's how I kind of got into it. Try and cut a really long story short. So, yeah.
No, I love that. And I love that you mentioned that too about joyful, because, a lot of people think of joy and happiness as the same thing, but there's a huge difference, because happiness is something outside of you. And like you said, it's fleeting, but joyfulness is something that is not dependent on outside circumstances.
No.
So I love that you made that distinction, because you can be having a bad day and still be joyful. There is still ways around, but happiness, it requires that outside stimulus, as they say.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, no, it's really, really funny because what does that mean? Actually, I want to be happy. It's a really funny word. But to be joyful, I see the distinction, and it's a really
Mhm.
important distinction that we all need to make, because joyfulness is where when you start to resonate with yourself and you start to think, yeah, I like doing
Mhm.
this. Whereas happiness, you could win the lottery, you'll be happy for one day, and then you realize, well, it's only money. It's only money. Money's important, but
Mhm.
it's like a material thing. Whereas joyfulness, if you've got the money to actually fulfill a dream, like for me, it would be setting up healing centers, then
Mhm.
yeah, that'd be brilliant. But as a rock musician, if I would think, well, how many mansions could I buy? It's just all material, and that just kind of feeds itself into a negative way. Whereas you've
Yeah.
actually got a vision and a purpose, and you're in contact with your soul, as it were. You know what you want to do with the money when it comes in, and you know how to place it properly, and that gives you great joy, really great joy. And that's where I've completely transformed myself with my mind, is really making it into a positive mindset rather than a negative one. And I think that's so important to do with your wellness and your health,
Mhm.
is having a positive mindset and being able to laugh easily as well, and being just good vibration. When someone comes into your domain and you go, "Oh, that was hard. That's really bad." That's like you're connecting with that negative vibration around them, and that's
Mhm.
what happens with all of us. Is we can feel that, and we're a lot more amazing than we realize. I feel as human beings, because we have like a perception and an intuition, and
Mhm.
that comes from, we call them in our practice, we call them the danjons, which means the energy centers of the body. So you got the lower danjon, which deals with your power and your passion and your creativity. And when that's messed up, you see people getting either reserved from life, and they can't get involved, or they get too
Mhm.
much where they get greedy and they want everything. And we're seeing a lot of that in today's the upper echelons of our world today, is everybody's just kind of raking in as much as they possibly can. So that's just their lower danjon or their lower chakras just out of balance. And then we talk about the middle danjon, which is our energy, and it's about your love, your empathy, and your compassion. And when I realized someone who maybe instigates a war, I can still love them and feel not sorry for them, but feel, oh my goodness me, you're in such a bad position. You had to instigate that for all these people to die. I've still got love for them and compassion, but still detest what they've done. It's quite a change for me, because I used to be one of those people at the front line, stop the war, and you realize actually, yes, you should stop the war, but it's not attacking the human being that's done that. It's actually attacking the energy where that's come from. Yeah, and then the upper danjon is like your intuition, your vision, and your wisdom. We all have a natural wisdom that flows through us, but because our other danjons are not connected, all these three areas of the body got neurons as well, so they do actually talk to each other through the vagus nerve. And once you get these three danjons working properly, life looks so much different, absolutely incredibly different. And that's what I really love about being a human being, is actually connecting with your energy body as well as your physical body. So you get your physical body to a reasonable state where you can move it. It doesn't have to be super fit, but a reasonable state. But once you connect your energies, your positive energies with that as well, get them working in the right way, everything looks so much different. It's so much different. So eating well kind of falls into that, but you don't have to eat that well, because if you're eating good food and you're still got negative energy inside of you, you're still not assimilating that energy. You're still not assimilating it. So it's all to do with you, your mindset and how you are, and it's your energy system that I am absolutely fascinated with. And that's what I was introduced with when I started my Ki Gong practice. And I thought, wow, this is quite incredible stuff. Wow, this is just mind-blowing stuff, and that's what I loved about it. And working on those, what happened with me is we started working on our lower danjons, sort of like a power, passion, connecting to the earth energies and stuff like that. And I realized that because of the photography, we first got into this with this mind, body, spirit stuff with my wife. I was all esoteric, and that's my numerology. Apparently, I'm not big on numerology, but I'm all out like esoteric, looking into the behind the veil of actually our human existence. That's where I'm at. And this pulled me back down to earth. Peter, come back down to earth, Mr. Space Cadet. Please come down and sit down and work it out from here. And when I did that, it was a great transformation, because I was always the lovely guy to meet at a party. Everybody used to love talking to me and things like that as a musician. Having a laugh with everybody, but very esoteric, very sort of into the meaning of life. And when you realize actually it's just like unveiling, there's so many layers to us as human beings. I knew nothing, and I still really do know nothing, but it's you start to realize I want to know more, and then you start to research and get so much information inside of you. And the more you research, actually, the more you realize, the less you know.
Exactly. It's that rabbit hole.
It's like incredible stuff. So yeah, the Ki Gong has really opened all of this up for me. Really, it's connecting your brain, your heart, and your gut together with those neurons.
Three brains.
Yeah. It's really fantastic stuff.
Something that you touched on that I absolutely and I really want to highlight is that you can still love somebody even if maybe love what they're doing, and because our energy is off. It doesn't have to make them as a human bad or wrong. It's just their energy's off. And that kind of takes, in my opinion, when I learned that, it took a lot of the shame and the guilt of making the wrong choices. And I had a lot more grace for myself when I realized, oh, that isn't me. It's just my energy. And I can change that if I want to. That's easy enough. It's not who I am. So it does, you know what I'm saying? Like I can make better choices.
Yeah. It's forgiving yourself. Forgiving yourself. If you come across that book, Zero Limits, with the Ho'oponopono, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And people I see when they first come, and work with me, and I get them to say that to themselves and explain that through to them, and they find it really difficult to actually forgive themselves. And I realized I found it difficult not just to forgive myself, but to forgive others. I remember when I was on the we did a Ki Gong competition. It sounds weird about having a Ki Gong competition, but it's kind of a light-hearted thing, but it is still taken very seriously, and we work out sort of flowing Ki Gong moves, and we went over to Korea with it, and we won the international competition. So I became a UK champion over there. But what was more important to me was going into this cave. We went into a meditation cave, which was talking about childhood traumas. And I've been through many childhood traumas, both with my training, with my master with Ki Gong, and also with doctors and psychiatrists and all these other people who were trying to label me as being depressed. I'm saying I'm not really depressed. I'm just a bit bemused by this world because it seems mad to me. So I went into this cave, and it was like a time capsule for me. I was shooting from event to event. I was thinking, oh yeah, I've really sorted this out. I've really, oh my goodness me, what's this thing here? And I found this thing that really made me angry. And it was when my father died, when I was the age of 19. I was in a real mess because my mother died when I was 11, and my father died when I was 19. So, and I'd gone to boarding school, and that was, they were really trying to condition me into, you need to be like this. It was a very good school, apparently a very good school, saying you need to do this and you need to accept this and accept that. And I said, well, I don't want to accept that. I don't want to be like that. That's not me. That's not my true self. Anyway, I came out of that, and at the age of 19, my father died, and my two eldest brothers had set themselves up with 2 houses and money for courses. For one of them became a pilot, one of them became a chiropractor out of my father's estate, and left the 4 youngest boys with nothing. Wow. And I never really thought about that all the way up until that about 20 odd years later. And I've been carrying that, and I found it, and I went, oh my goodness me, this is why maybe I've been drinking too much, because the anger, liver, it's connected with the liver. And I forgave them straight there and then. I thought, you must have been in such a terrible, frightened position to actually do that to your own brothers. Yeah. I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive you. And I walked out that cave, and my career master came up to me and said, what happened to you in that cave? Look at you. Look at you. You look like 20 years younger. What have you done? And I explained the story. He goes, you've released that all from your face. You've released it, all that tension and anxiety from your face. So I realized when you look at scientific studies, say I saw one on the gallbladder and gallstones, and they were measuring stress and the gallbladder, and they're showing people who weren't dealing with stress were developing gallstones. So we hold this stress in our body, and we don't release it, so therefore it comes into the material world. So that energy, that negative energy vibrating in your body, comes into the material world. And I realized that firsthand from my anger in my liver, and then releasing this. And that's what I found about this whole thing with releasing your trauma, your anxiety, your stress. You need to release it, let it go, and forgive. Forgiveness is the big thing. And then be grateful for anything that you have, any small thing that you have. As we see from the Heart Math Institute, that they realized that the biggest frequency coming out of the body, electromagnetic frequency, is the heart.
Yeah.
And when we focus on gratitude, that actually physically increases. And we do that in our Ki Gong class. We got those, those little water dividers.
Yeah.
And people think you're crazy when you first do it, because it does seem a bit weird. But they do. If you put the intention into these dividers and you walk up to someone and you say, oh, I want to know where your energy field starts, they cross when you get to the beginning of the energy field. And then after the class, we do it on the same person, and that energy field has come out by about 2-3 feet. And the people in the room go, oh my goodness me, that is incredible. How does that happen? I said, it's just what you're doing is you're connecting with yourself, and you're connecting with your energy, and you're expanding your energy. That's all you're doing.
Exactly.
I didn't realize that our energy bodies were like that, and we have such a vast space, which is why you sense people when they come into we were talking about that a little bit earlier. You sense people coming into your space that don't really resonate with you. Go, oh, you know, I don't want to be around that. I don't know what's going on there.
Or even somebody staring at you. You feel like you're like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. You get around, you go, why are you staring at me? And you sense it. You sense it. I was just saw something amazing about sensing things. It was called it was a documentary by Corey. Oh, I can't remember her name. Called the Superhuman, and they were doing experiments on children. Not nastily. Sounds awful saying that. And they were putting blindfolds on children, and they were trying to get them to see colors. And they first started to see colors, and then they started to be able to read through the blindfolds. And they realized that your consciousness sees before your eyes. So if you can learn to connect with your consciousness more, your perceptions grow. And I find this whole area absolute phenomenal research, because I've had 2 out-of-body experiences. One of them was when I was playing with a rock band called Thin Lizzy. They're quite a big rock band back in the 70s.
Oh, yeah.
And I had an out-of-body experience during the gig. It was like quite incredible, because I came out, I could see myself down on the stage going, it was my first major gig. I'm up in the stadium and there's me down there. What am I doing up here? And I was like this, felt like a I don't know, just a ball of energy. And there seemed to be other balls of energy in the auditorium as well. And it was releasing all the human baggage that we have. Imagine that. And just being this pure energy ball. And it was one of the most incredible experiences. But I could see, and I've never really realized why I could see. I didn't know that. And I do ask questions. So why did that happen to me? And this documentary came along and showed me that you can see without the use of your eyes.
Yeah.
And there was a woman with macro degeneration, and she has to use this enormous magnifying glass, to see menus. And she did training with this woman, and she learned to read the menus without the magnifying glass. So she still can't see very well at all, but she could read the small print because she's projecting her consciousness onto it. I'm thinking, where are we going to go with this? It's so exciting. We're on the cusp of human beings really starting to learn what we're capable of. I think it's fun. I think it's fantastic. I get excited about it, but it's difficult because you get people who just go, "What on earth are you talking about?"
Well, you're speaking my language, so I totally get what you're saying. So few people really understand that so little of who we are as a human is kept inside this meat suit. Most of it is not inside the meat suit. So
yeah. In fact, what is inside? They found the mind is outside.
It is. Even in art. Did you think about that in the old art, that golden halo that is around that they draw? That is actually your mind. That's what they're drawing. So
yeah. Quite incredible. And the William Henry's into the rainbow body of light, and he showed that the Buddhists, the early Buddhas, and they've got this rainbow body of light coming out of them, which is the chakra system shining itself into your aura. So our ancestors knew all of this stuff. And that's where I really have I just keep looking into our history and seeing these ancient sites and these ancient pictures. And when you look at the pictures, you go, what's that little UFO doing in the background sky of that 300 AD picture? You know, it's like, what did they know, and how did they build all these amazing things? And I think a lot of it is to do with sound and sound vibration. If you look at the science of cymatics, you see that they can actually create sound form just by putting 2 or 3 frequencies into sand, and they actually get the sand to come off and start moving around like solar systems. And you go, oh, this is a bit weird, isn't it? And you realize that everything is frequency.
Exactly.
That's what really got me into this with sound healing and sound toning. Sound healing, I used to use tuning forks because of lockdown. I haven't done so many. But also, I found that it was people were coming back to me with the same problems. I wasn't really healing them. I was just kind of making their life more comfortable, which I prefer to say, I want you to have this. I don't want you to keep coming and relying on me, because I might as well just become a doctor. I mean, I want you to empower yourself to be healthy. But what was incredible with these tuning forks is that when you got the chakra system, the 7 chakras, and each chakra has its own individual energy for individual attributes to your body. And I was using these tuning forks, and when I was going over the chakras, going, it's like intermittently cutting out when the chakra was not working properly, but it was going when the chakra was overactive. And then I would speak to the person I was seeing after, because I'd use solfeggio tones for the outer body as well. And I would give them a diagnosis going, well, you've got this chakra that's not balanced. Are you finding it difficult to, say, have close relationships with people at the moment, and things like that? Yeah, your sacral chakra's out. You know, it's I put it back into balance, and that's why they felt more clean and more refreshed, because their energy body had been cleaned up. So I realized that it was not all about the physical body. We think it's all about the physical body being well, but no, it's about our energy and our resonance with the field. And what I found with Ki Gong is when you're in the flow of your energy, it's like being a child again. You're just playing, like dancing with the energy around you. It's like being a child again. It's wonderful, because you feel lighter and more connected with everything. And you start to feel the electromagnetic frequency energies between your palms, and you can feel it as you go up your chakra system. It's just incredible stuff. It really is. And when someone first feels the energy in the class, their face is priceless. Oh, what is this? You know. And one girl, she said, I feel discombobulated, which is quite a big word for me this time of night. But yes, I said, yes, you are moving into a place where you are actually starting to begin to realize the nature of your reality. It's not, this is not you. This is not you. What are you? Are you your eyes? Are you your brain, your heart?
Exactly.
No, we're just receivers of information. We're vehicles. And yeah, you got to look after your vehicle, but I think you've got to look after what's coming into your vehicle just as much, if not more, you know. And then your vehicle will actually go, well, actually I want to respond a bit more to this, and your vehicle will start to tune itself up. And I found this with a book written by Ilchi Lee. If he wrote a book called I Want to Live to 120 years of age, because we're way capable of that, way capable of that. And when you think about that and you actually put that out as an intention, things change. You go, oh, I can't be doing that anymore, because that's going to wear me out. I can't do that. That's not going to be good for me. And your intentions change, because you're moving towards something that your body needs to be looking out. You know, like you can't be doing this, can't be doing that, can't be eating chocolate biscuits all the time, and you can't be doing that and this, because you need to keep the body healthy, and trying to stay away from unhealthy atmospheres and unhealthy people that come into your life that drag you down. You know, negative people can really affect your energy really badly. So
they can.
It's your intention. It's always about your intention, and that's one of the first questions I ask people. What do you actually want?
I love that. No, I love that. I love that. I love that so much. What do you actually want? That is such a brilliant question, and something that a lot of people don't take the time to answer. And I really want to get into that, but we do have to go to commercial break. So we'll be back in just a moment, Mr. Peter. Oh my gosh, I hope you're having as much fun as I am, because we are talking about energy and health and how everything affects everything else. But as I mentioned, we do have to go to commercial break. For those of you who are watching live, thank you for joining us. You are always, always appreciated. And as I mentioned, we'll be right back.
Now, you can vibrationally align your aura. You can gain a larger and spiritual perspective on life, relationships, God, people, wellness, and money. You can also have moments of meditation and reflection any time of the day. And reading the thrilling, adventurous, and mystical story of Shiga will just add more faith to your daily experience of the mystery of the universe.
When drug or alcohol addiction take over, things begin to disappear. Your friends, your family, and eventually, you. Recommended by Dr. Phil, New Method Wellness can help get your life back with individualized treatment plans for dual diagnosis clients. New Method Wellness provides the most highly credentialed treatment in a safe and welcome environment. Call New Method Wellness for your free consultation and ask about our national accreditations. Together, we can put the pieces back together.
Welcome back, everyone. If you're just joining us now, my name is Julianne Meyer, and I am the host of Own Your Wellness. And today's special guest is Peter Parker. Welcome back, and welcome for those of you who are just joining. England, you are far, far away from the United States, and I am ever so grateful that you stayed up late enough to be on the show.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
That is so awesome. So I really want to talk a bit about, what do you really want? But first, I would really love to talk about, you have something coming up soon, don't you?
Yeah, I've just launched the Bright Beings Academy, where you can find that at the website there, peterpaulparker.co.uk. Or if you just Google Peter Paul Parker, usually the websites come up the top. Make sure you put the Paul in, otherwise you get lots of funny Spider-Man. But yeah, I just launched the Bright Beings Academy, and I got an online coaching thing there, but this is the Ki Gong, what I do, and try to keep it as reasonable as possible price-wise so that people can get involved with it. And we run 2 classes a week, one on the Sunday, one on the Thursday. And also we do group calls as well, so we can talk about this kind of thing with me on the call as well, obviously. So I'm trying to bring this online. So I do a lot of work coaching and teaching in my local area, but I want to do more online. Because I think there's a need for it right now, because people are very confused and upset with how the world seems to be going, but it's just going through a metamorphosis. And once you realize that, you've got to sit there and be calm and connect with yourself. So that's why I do the academy. And it's great because people can connect from all around the world and just tune in. And it's good fun. As long as you've got a place to do the training at home and you've got a reasonable good screen, then it works. There's nothing like being in a room with people, but online we've got to do it sometimes. So it's like having this conversation now. We're still connecting, or we're still being with each other. So that's cool. But it's so it's the academy I've just set up, and yeah, check it out. Have a look. There's a free webinar you can watch. If you just go to the website, just click the link, and you can see the webinar. It tells you all about the academy and how it works, and it's really simple. And there's all sorts of online courses in with the academy, like joint exercises, meditations. There's a little bit about food and nutrition, but it's really about what the food is rather than what you should eat, because that's very individual. So I'm not really a nutritionist, but say it's good to eat water-based foods a lot because it gives us a lot of obviously water. So yeah, it's got all sorts of stuff in there. So it's good value, and the value will be. I'll keep adding to the value of it because I want to put a chakra sort of online course there, and also meridians, stretching out the meridians, what the meridian's all about. So for instance, like your lung meridian, your sadness, but it's positive. You know why we do the thumbs up? Because of the lung meridian. Because it's positive. That's why in the West we do thumbs up, because that came from the Eastern philosophy of the lung meridian. So thumbs up is there you go. I'm positive. Funny, isn't it? And that's where it came from. So yeah, we do. I'm creating courses on the meridians as well. So yeah, it's a big project, and I want to really make it big and thorough so people can come all walks of life and just check in, and that's what I want, is build up a little community there at the Bright Beings Academy. But you get through to that from my website, peterpaulparker.co.uk.
I love that so much. And then the other thing that I wanted to touch on, because it is online, and a lot of the viewers are in the United States. We have viewers from all over, but a lot of them are from the United States. And I can already sense a question is how is this supposed to work if you're all the way over there? And I know that energy has no bounds, but it's my understanding especially from your previous answers, that you want people to be able to heal themselves. You want people to be able to, not have to go to you. So that's what you're teaching, correct? Is so that they can do it themselves.
Yes. Yes. It's like classes. So you get information on the middle, lower, upper danjons and take it away from you. That's what I do now. We train at home, and I've got loads of online classes you can use for free if you need topping up or anything like that. So that's not a problem at all. On my YouTube channel, you've got tons of Ki Gong on there, tons of sound healing videos and things like that. It's all for free. But going to the academy is giving you a good blast of it, and then you move on, or stick around if you want to. It's up to you. I'm really happy to hear people's stories to say, wow, I really get this now, and they move on and they do their own thing. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. So it's learning. It's all learning, moving yourself forward. And we talked about earlier is knowledge. You can never get enough knowledge. You realize how little you do know. So it's not about latching you in and saying, I want you for the rest of my life and things like that. It's about getting people, this is what you can do, this is what you can achieve, and this is what you can connect with. But really, it's not about control, it's about letting go. Letting go of everything, and then trying something out that's new and different and interesting, and then you see what happens. But I want people to empower themselves to be healthy, because the medical industry is a disaster as far as I'm concerned. We're heading towards a health catastrophe if it carries on the way that it's carrying on. So we have to empower ourselves to be healthy. I remember when I used to go to the doctors many years ago. It seems like a long distance memory. And I used to go to the doctors, and I used to research the ailments that I had. And I used to say to my doctor, well, I think I've got this, and this is what I feel is this and this and this. And they're virtually saying to me, why did you come in to see me, sort of thing? Because I'd looked into it. And now I haven't been to a doctor for so long now. It's been incredible. But the last time I was scared with my teeth because of I had an abscess. I thought I had an abscess in my teeth, which can actually kill you. I did actually go to the dentist, and they wanted to put me on antibiotics, which I don't really like taking anymore. But I thought, okay, this is dangerous. I was still a little bit naive then. And then so I went to the chemist, and they gave me this. They gave me the antibiotics. I looked on the back of it. I said, this has got an E number on it, which is a carcinogen. So you want me to put this in my body? And she said, it was only a little bit. I said, well, what if I have another one of your products that's got another little bit of carcinogen and then another little bit of carcinogen over there? And I said, do you realize that the World Health Organization has estimated 1 in 2 people are going to have cancer as human beings? She goes, well, that's a lifestyle choice. I said, yeah, my lifestyle choice is not to put this carcinogen in my body. It's like, what's the matter with you? You're supposed to be a chemist trying to get me healthy. And it was like, that's when I realized I've got to look after my own health. And really, most of it is breathing. Breathing, deep breathing is most of it. And focusing on yourself is most of it. But it sounds easy, but it isn't. If we're to sit here now for 5 minutes and try and focus on our breathing, how quickly is your mind going to start darting around? It goes out. And it's we do little Ki Gong exercises where you'll do like a hand movement away from yourself, and you put it in towards your body. And wow, do people have difficulties coming into their body, but they can do it going away from their bodies? It's because our minds are trained to go out, not come in. And that's so important to realize, because we're just zapping about all over the place with our minds. Our mind is this time traveler that seems to be to go in the past, the future, the present, wherever it wants to go. And our body is like rooted in this present moment. And what's sad about that is the mind and the body wants to be together. You know, they're like a couple, as it were. And yet they're not, because our mind is all over the place. So our body becomes more stressed because of that, because we're getting anxious. Anxiety is a fear of what's coming, the present moment and what's coming. There's no tigers walking in the room at the moment, so why are we getting anxious? And you've got depression, makes you feel like, usually that is compression. I like to call it compression.
Yes.
Because sometimes you need to compress and think and go, okay, why did this course of events happen? How am I going to break that cycle? And that's where Ki Gong comes in, I find, as a really easy way of meditating, because you're not having to sit there. Not that our mind's sitting there going or anything like that. It's more practical for a Western lifestyle, is to get into the form that I teach anyway, which originally came from Sando, the original Korean mindfulness. And it's easy. I found it easy to get into, a lot easier than some of the practices like the Indian pranayama and things like that. They tend to be very focused and really this was easier, a lot more joyful, not bringing the joy out in your life. They call it finding your true self, finding your joyfulness inside of you. And that's what attracted to me about going up the ranks, which took me a long time to do, to become a Dan Master, which actually means the Master in Training. It took me a while to get through that, because I was umming and ahhing about the money, and umming and ahhing about, oh, is this really going to work for me, and umming and ahhing about this, that and the other. And then as soon as I said, oh, I'm going to do it, it all kind of fell into place, and I did it. The money wasn't a problem, the time wasn't a problem, the attitude that I had now was so much more fluid and flowing with life, rather than being resistant and like your feet stuck in the mud, as it were. And that's what we need to release ourselves from, all these burdens that they're like anchors holding us back, and we've got to get past them and getting into where we should be as human beings, which is finding your purpose, which is what we ended the first half of the show, is what do you actually want? Such a excuse me, an enormous question.
It is.
Can't seem to answer very easily. And me, what do I actually want? I want to see human beings thriving. We're in a real pickle at the moment, and I want to see us all thriving. And I realize from seeing the transformation of myself and the transformation in other people that I help, you go, yeah, you're starting to thrive now, you know. And I'm sure you see the same as well. And that's it becomes almost addictive, that you want to help more people, and you want to help yourself, and you want to grow more, and it becomes like a challenge to keep growing. And you all hit roadblocks, and you all hit times you think, oh, why am I doing this? And then there's other times you go, yeah, this is why I'm doing that. So it's an incredible journey, and that's what personally what I feel makes life interesting, rather than just going round and round the same circles all the time, which happens to me still as well. You know, it happens to all of us, and you think, oh no, not this again. And then
there's something that's interesting too about being a coach, is that if you're not doing the practices that you're trying to teach somebody else, then they're not going to be successful either. So it's kind of like, you you're learning along with your clients or your students, or however you want to, depending on what your modality is. But I just find that very fascinating how, it's kind of like self-teaching at the same time when you're helping others. It's kind of fascinating how that works out.
That's a very deep spiritual. What I'm finding actually coming out now with coaching and meeting people and talking about this stuff and then researching it as well, is this is all ancient knowledge. Because they call it the Essene mirrors. The Essenes were around the time of Jesus, and they were amazing. And they moved on to like the Cathars that were massacred in France. But they were keepers of great knowledge, and they called it the Essene mirrors. The Essene mirrors where you see yourself in other people as you go around, and you're learning from other people all the time. And there's really crazy instances when people come into your life when you think, wow, this is like amazing human being, and you think you're going to be like friends for life because you resonate straight away, and all of a sudden they disappear. And that's you releasing something out of yourself, and the universe coming around and saying, giving you the chance to almost say goodbye to it, to that element inside of you. And you go, whoa, what happened there? Where did they go? And all of a sudden it disappeared. It's really weird. It's the Essene mirrors. So in the Tao philosophy, we say that we learn from everybody. Even so, you treat everybody with respect and everybody with grace and dignity, rather than thinking, oh, well, they don't earn much money. What's the matter with them? It's not like that at all. It's like, well, where are they at, and why are they in that position? And I remember going to when I was growing up in Kingston, there was a reporter asking me about the tramp, the homeless man who used to live there. There wasn't many of them around at that point. And he asked me to go and buy him a cup of tea, gave me the money to go and buy a cup of tea and get his story. And I thought he was just a down and out, but no, this guy was like phenomenally rich. He lived in a mansion in Kingston Hill. Kingston Hill is one of the most luxurious places in like the south of London. And he had this, but his wife cheated on him, and it broke his heart so much that he just walked out of the house, left everything behind, and just lived on the street. And I thought, well, that's a story. He was so broken by somebody else that he had to leave his house, and that was like such a negative thing. I thought, well, no, don't give up because somebody else has cut into you. You take on your own sovereignty, and if they've betrayed you, and you move on. It was to me, it's kind of incredible how life can drag you down like that. And how life needs to go up. While we like ascending, we're moving up, and we're coming up the chakra system, as it were, into our higher selves, and not allowing people to drag us down, which we do tend to do. So it's incredible journey. This whole thing with life is brilliant. But that's what I love about Ki Gong, is that it's so self-empowering. It really makes you feel like you can do it, because your body starts to slowly strengthen up. And we do little routines now in the class, and as you moving your body, you think, well, that doesn't look like much, but you do the routine 3 or 4 times, people go, wow, I'm boiling hot now. I said, that's good. That's your internal ki energy starting to circulate around your body. And that means your immune system is kicking in. And because your immune system is kicking in, each time it goes up a degree, it kicks in another 50 to 100%. So you're starting to move your body and work your body properly. This is where it should be, with your energy flowing. And that's what I love about it, because especially teaching with the elderly, when they look at me and they go, yeah, that looks easy enough. And after about 2 or 3 times around the routine, they have to sit down, because it's like, oh, that's really hot. I'm really hot now. So it's incredible what we are capable of, I think.
I think that's so funny too, because I used to personal train quite a bit, and people start out, oh, this is so easy. I'm like, just give it a minute. It's not 0 to 100. Like, trust me, you're gonna be tired. You will be sore.
Yeah, no, it's incredible what the body can do, and how strong we actually are. It was we do a thing called sleeping tiger, which was the bane of my life when I first started this practice. It's like lying on the floor with your hands up in the air and your knees bent 90 degrees, and you're like sitting on a chair but lying on your back. And my goodness me, I didn't realize how stiff my hips were until I sat in that position. And it used to be, after about a minute, it was agony, absolute agony. And it's because I was holding on to all this tension in my hips. And I finally released it all, and I can sit in that, lie in that position quite comfortably for quite a while. But you don't realize what's in your body until you work it out. It's like I do little wrist exercises to show people how light your body can do, and like massaging certain acupressure points to release the tension in there, like rubbing right in the middle of your palm. That gets rid of tension. You see people naturally doing that when they're stressed. And
I do that.
It's a natural way of releasing the stress. Is connected to your pericardium meridian, which is encasing your heart. So it would be maybe an emotional or sort of a emotional sort of stress. So you rub in there going, oh yeah, get rid of it, and it dissipates. And then you see people changing when they do these little exercises, and they realize how light their body can feel through Ki Gong. And then they realize, okay, what more can I do with this? And someone almost floated out of the class the other day when I was teaching in an elderly place. She comes along. She said, oh, I feel so light, I feel so great. I want to go and dance now. I'm going, whoa, that's fantastic. She's not that old, 72, but she's nimble for where she's at. So it's fantastic to see that. But yeah, these acupressure points and the meridian lines and the chakra system is so important to empower yourself. It's not important to know every nuance of it, but we do receive, store, assimilate, and project energy. And once you get that cycle flowing properly inside of your body, which is where your meridians come from and your chakra system comes from, and that's what it's sorting out, then everything looks so much different. So your chakras are like your body's like the country, and your chakras are like the main train stations of the country. Then your meridian lines are like the railway tracks, and the acupressure points are like the little outward stations that you massage you can get rid of all your stress and tension through those little stations with acupressure or acupuncture. And we do that with all over body tapping. You sort that out straight away. So you tap all over the body.
Show. I love that.
All over body tapping is phenomenal. You get all it strengthens your bones, it helps to stimulate your bone marrow production, stimulates your mitochondria, which is where your energy actually comes out of your body through, and you feel tingly and amazing and alive just after the body tapping. When we first started, I must say though,
Peter, I'm really sorry, Peter. I'm sorry, but we are like almost out of time. So can you believe it? I lost you for a second. I'm not sure what happened with the internet, but I just wanted to say thank you so much for being on the show, because like we just barely scratched the surface of what you can share with everyone. So I just wanted to say it's been such a pleasure to hear your stories, and the wealth of knowledge that you've shared with the audience has been phenomenal. So I wanted to make sure that we put up your YouTube channel too, so people can get stuff from that, right? And and then also one more time, your website, so people can look into your academy, correct?
Yeah. All are welcome, and all are welcome to.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. I really and truly appreciate you being here today, and especially staying up so late. Oh my goodness, that's the best. So thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And that is unfortunately all the time we have. It went by so quickly, as it almost always does. But that's, like I said, that's it. So we'll see you next week, everyone. Have a great weekend.